students, welcome to online platform of Dr. APJ Abul Kalam Technical University, Lucknow. I am Dr. Tarun Gupta, Associate Professor in GL Bajaj Institute of Technology and Management, Greater Noida. Today we will discuss our fourth lecture, layout of modern thermal power plant. Dear friends, first of all you must know what is the meaning of thermal power plant. Thermal means heat, power means here power means electricity, plant means an industry or you can say a setup. So, thermal power plant means an industry or a plant where electricity can be generated with the help of thermal yani heat. Now, initially I told you initially hydroelectric power plant came into existence. After that the technology developed and we start to generate electricity with the help of coal. So, because there was no other technology, so the technology in which we generate electricity with the help of coal, that technology is named at thermal power plant, right. So, you can say this is the layout of thermal power plant. Here you can see, I think are you able to see the complete diagram? Here you can see there is a boiler. This boiler is the responsible which convert water into heat with the help of energy of the coal. You can say boiler is a heat exchanger, right. So, in boiler when we want to convert water into steam, we require coal. So, there is a coal storage. Here coal come from coal mines, and then coal storage in the power plant itself, then coal handling plant, then boiler. So, this coal is supplied to the furnace of the boiler where the coal burned and converted into the ash, and it gives its useful heat to the water. Now, ash is removed from the boiler furnace with the help of some ash handling equipment, and then ash is storage in storing plant, somewhere storing plant. Now, when a coal burn, it gives its heat to the water which convert into steam. So, here you can see this is the steam, passage of the steam passes through the superheater, then it passes through the main valve, then it passes to the turbine and it rotates the turbine. When it rotates the turbine, it gives its thermal energy to the turbine which convert thermal energy into the mechanical energy, or you can say rotation or rotary energy, right. Heat or you can say steam is expanding in the turbine, and after expansion the wet steam or you can say exhaust steam passes through the condenser where it get condensed and convert into the liquid state, that is in hot water, right. And then hot water or you can say condensate is supplied to the boiler through the condensate extraction pump, low pressure heater, boiler feed pump, high pressure heater, and finally passes through the economizer into the boiler. You can see. We will discuss the function of each and every part. Now, when coal burn, hot gases will develop. So, those hot gases are known as flue gases. This is the path of flue gases. Flue gases pass through the superheater, then economizer, then air preheater, and finally to the chimney, and finally from chimney to atmosphere, right. Now, here you can see when turbine rotate means when turbine convert thermal energy into mechanical energy. So, here you can see to the turbine generator is coupled, you can see a generator is coupled which rotate, and generator convert rotary motion or you can say mechanical energy into electrical energy. So, here electricity will develop which can be supplied through the transformer and various distribution channel. Now, what happened to the condensate? when we cool the or we remove the heat of the exhaust steam in the condenser, water is used. That water is recirculated through the cooling tower or canal. We will discuss all these things in the detail. In this diagram you can see there are some accessories, some mountings, though mounting and accessories will be dealt separately, but still I want to tell you slightly about these, that superheater, economizer, air preheater, these are the accessories. Now, what is accessories? Accessories are the parts, you can say, or some fittings on the boiler which can increase the efficiency of the boiler. Means these are not mandatory. If you want, you can use; if you do not want, you cannot use. But if you will use, they will increase the thermal efficiency. There are few mountings, you can say mountings are on the boiler, and mountings are the necessary. So, we will discuss these in details. Now, if we want to discuss important circuit in the power plant, there are 4 circuits you can see. One is coal and ash circuit, other is air and flue gas circuit, feed water and steam circuit, and fourth one is cooling water circuit. See the diagram. I told you coal and ash circuit. So, this one is the coal and ash circuit number 1, right. On the number 2 I told you air and flue gas circuit. So, you can see where is the air? Air came from the here. So, air came from the here, passes through the air preheater and goes to the boiler. So, this is the air and flue gas circuit. This is the air and flue gas circuit. Number 3 you can see, number 3 is the feed water and steam circuit. So, feed water, water is feeding through the economizer, through the boiler, and steam passes through this. This is the third circuit, and fourth circuit is cooling water circuit. So, fourth circuit is this. This one is the fourth circuit, right. So, we will discuss all these here. So, first of all, let us say coal and ash circuit. Friends, you must remember that a 400 megawatt capacity power plant require 5000 to 6000 tons of the coal per day, and this is good quality coal. Good quality coal means there is a very less ash content, there is very less moisture content. So, good coal means less ash content, and ash content is approximately 10%. So, 10% is the ash content, right. This is about for 400 megawatt capacity, though our thermal power plant are or such bigger capacity super thermal power plants. I told you in the last lecture about this. So, now coal is available from the coal mines. There are 2 methods to use the coal, stoker firing as well as pulverized firing. So, in India we mostly preferred pulverized firing. Pulverized firing means we convert coal into the powder form. So, that is known as pulverized coal. That pulverized coal from the storage area, which is also known as stack, means that pulverized coal is taken to the boiler with the help of various coal handling equipments like you can say belt conveyor, bucket conveyor, trucks, pipelines, etc., etc., right. So, initially the coal is stored in the stack, and from the stack it is supplied to the furnace of the boiler. And yes, we are using various measuring scales, measuring units just to weighing the coal, how much coal is going to be burned, right. Now, that pulverized coal is transferred to the boiler furnace where it burn, and when it burn it high temperature will develop, which is at the around of 1500 degrees Celsius to 2000 degrees Celsius, right. And it convert, after burning the coal convert into the ash, and hot gases or you can say flue gases supply through the water, which convert water into the steam. Now, ash is collect in the ash pit. There is a ash pit below the furnace, boiler furnace. So, ash is collected into the ash pit, and from the ash pit it is removed by the ash handling plant. Now, ash handling systems like you can say belt conveyor, screw conveyor, etc., we can use some hydraulic system, pneumatic system. We will discuss these in separate lecture, right, because ash has some properties like it is very hot, it is abrasive in nature. So, we will discuss all these in separate lecture. Now, a thermal power plant of 400 megawatt capacity which require 5000 to 6000 tons of the coal per day require 10 hectare area per year if ash is dumped to a height of 6.5 meter. Means अगर आप ash को continuous dump करते, if you are dumping the ash continuously, you are not using the ash somewhere, you are not supplying the ash somewhere, so you need 10 hectare area per year. So, that is what we are doing. We are just having a space for 7 to 14 days of ash collection, and then we supply the ash to somewhere where it can be used. So, we will discuss what are the uses of ash. So, you can see the diagram. This is the diagram which we have discussed earlier. This diagram is taken from the layout of the power plant. I told you, if you have remember. So, this diagram I told you one point number 1. So, this is the same diagram. You can see this is a boiler. In the boiler, coal, this is coal storage, or you can say stack. I told you na, stack or coal storage. From coal stack, this coal is supplied to the boiler furnace with the help of various coal handling plant equipment systems like conveyors, belt conveyor, bucket conveyor, etc. And after burning, when it convert into ash, that ash is coming out with the help of some ash handling equipment, and then it is supplied to the ash storage. Next circuit is air and flue gas circuit. Dear friends, you can see the diagram. First of all, why we need the air? All of you know that oxygen is required for burning. In the boiler, what we are doing, we are just converting the energy available in the coal into the thermal energy of the water. Here coal burned, but oxygen is required for burning of the coal. We are not able to supply pure oxygen for the burning purpose. So, what we are doing, we are taking air from the atmosphere, and the oxygen available in the air is used in the burning of the coal, which convert coal into the ash. Here you can see the air from the atmosphere. This air passes through the air preheater and then supplied to the furnace of the boiler. In the air preheater, the temperature of atmospheric air is increased by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius. Means in the air preheater, the atmospheric air absorb the heat which are going waste through the flue gases. So, by this way we are able to increase the thermal efficiency of the boiler. In the boiler, when coal burn, flue gas will generate, and those flue gas are used to convert water into the steam. So, after convert water into the steam, those flue gases are allowed to pass over the some accessories, just to increase the thermal efficiency of the boiler. You can see this is the first superheater, then economizer, then air preheater. See, superheater is the accessories where we convert the steam generated into superheated steam. The advantage of superheated steam are more that more work done can be generated from the superheated steam. Right. After passing through the superheater, these flue gases are passed through the economizer, where we heat up the water which is supplied to the boiler drum, and then we pass it to the air preheater, where we preheat the supplied air. But before passing any accessories, these flue gases may have some dust particle which are absorbed from the burning of the coal. So, before passing through any accessories, the flue gases passes through a dust collector which remove any dust or solid particle, because if dust particle are allowed to pass from the accessories, it may choke the accessory, it may reduce the efficiency of the accessory. So, that is why we pass it from a filter, or we pass it from a dust collector, and where all the dust particles are removed, the filtered flue gases pass through the economizer and preheater and is forced out through the chimney by a draft fan. See, draft fan is required to maintain the draft, so that there is a natural process that air can enter from the boiler furnace through the air preheater, and it passes through a predetermined path with a certain velocity, with a certain, you can say, speed. right, so that proper quantity of the water can convert into the steam. Here you can see this is the circuit of the air is coming here and flue gases are going to the toward upward, right. So, our next circuit is feed water and steam circuit. See what is feed water? Feed water is the water which is supplied to the boiler drum. You can see this is the boiler drum. So, this is the feed water circuit, feed water. This is the feed water circuit which coming to the boiler through economizer, or in the economizer you can see this is a complete circuit. So, initially what happened in the boiler, there is water which convert into steam. That steam passes through the superheater and becomes superheated steam. I told you why we are doing the superheated, right. Now, after passing the superheater, this steam, or you can say superheated steam, passes through a main valve and then it expands into the turbine. And in the turbine, the thermal energy of the steam convert into the mechanical energy. It rotates the turbine. So, this shaft of the turbine will rotate, and when it expand into the turbine, it lose its heat and it convert from superheated steam to the wet steam, and that wet steam coming is also known as exhaust steam. It come outside from the turbine and it pass through the condenser, where it get condensed, means it give its heat to a cooling water and convert into the completely liquid state. This exhaust steam or wet steam, also known as wet steam, it is a mixture of steam and water. So, steam and water is not allowed because we do not have any pump or any blower which can efficiently handle the combination of gas and liquid. So, either we can handle efficiently gas or we can handle efficiently liquid. So, it is very easy to convert steam into the water. So, we convert that wet steam into the water, and a condensate extraction pump remove that condensate or that hot water from the condenser well, and it passes through a low pressure heater. It passes through a low pressure heater and then boiler, feed pump, high pressure heater and economizer, and then boiler. Economizer is also an accessories where we preheat the feed water. Remember, where we preheat the feed water, the preheat means we increase the temperature of the water before entering into the boiler, and feed water means the water which is supplied to the boiler. So, here we preheat the feed water, right. So, this is the feed water and steam circuit, and the rotary energy or rotating or rotary motion of the shaft of the turbine, it coupled with the help with a generator, and where it rotary motion is converted into the electrical energy. So, you can see here the superheated steam from the boiler enters in the steam turbine. The superheated steam temperature is about 600 degrees Celsius and the pressure is approximately 30 megapascal, or you can say 300 kilogram per centimeter square. The steam expand in the turbine, causing the turbine blade to rotate. After doing mechanical work on the blade and losing its energy, the steam become wet and the pressure of the steam become very less. So, this wet steam passes through a condenser where it completely become water. This condensate water or condensed water has a temperature approximately 30 degree to 40 degrees Celsius. Remember, the temperature is 30 degree to 40 degrees Celsius and it is collected in a tank which is below the condenser, and that tank is known as hot well. The water from the hot well is fed to the boiler through the economizer. Economizer preheat the water before entering into the boiler. The economizer receive its heat from the flue gas, leaving the boiler preheating the feed water in the economizer, increase the boiler efficiency and help the quicker production of the steam. Next is cooling water circuit. So, dear friends, cooling water circuit, you can see cooling water circuit. Cooling water is used in the condenser just to condensate, just to extract the heat of the wet steam or the heat of the exhaust steam coming out from the steam turbine. So, just here there is a steam turbine and the steam, wet steam coming from here wet steam coming from here enter into the condenser. Now we have two option. Every time we can have a fresh water from the river or canal if it is available, and if river or canal is not available, then we can use cooling tower, we can recirculate the water. Now if we want to use fresh water, we have a water source, some water body is available, river or canal, and we can take fresh water, or and then instead of cooling tower, this water is supplied to the river, and every time we are taking the water from here. Now whenever we are releasing the water into river or canal, we have to take care that this hot water does not harm the water life. Means there are some animal in the water like fish, etc. There are some plants in the water. So that hot water or the water which we discharging in the river or canal, that water never harm the water life. Also, whenever we are taking the water from the river or canal for cooling purpose, we cannot use directly because there are some impurities in the water, and those impurities can damage the pump as well as the tubes or pipes of the condenser. So what we are doing, we are filtering the water, and after filtering the water we can use the water every time. Now suppose, now if we don't have river or canal, then we recirculate the cooling water. Water is circulated around the condenser to condense the steam coming out of the turbine. Cooling water enter into the condenser at 10 degrees Celsius to 15 degrees Celsius and leave the system approximately 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. So plenty of water is required for condensing the steam, right. Now if river or canal is not there, then we recirculate the water, only the water shortage due to evaporation. So we always make up that water. Here we are using a cooling tower. Cooling tower is are of two type, one may be natural draft, other is mechanical draft. So it is a large structure for if we are talking about natural draft, it is a large hyperbolic structure. So hot water is allowed to spray from here, and air enters from the here. When air come into contact with the water, it get the heat of the water, and some water get evaporated. Those hot air goes out of the chimney to the atmosphere, and this cold water is collected here at the bottom of the cooling tower, from where this pump remove the water and supply to the condenser again and again. But every time there are some water losses due to evaporation. So those water losses, those water losses can be compensated by makeup water, but sometimes it is not necessary, it is not required, or sometimes it is not possible to have a natural draft cooling tower. In that case we can use mechanical draft cooling tower, and in the mechanical draft cooling tower the comparatively small cooling tower is required. But now here we are using some mechanical arrangement. Mechanical arrangement means we are using fans for continuous supply of the water for maintaining the velocity of the air. So we can use fan at the top of the cooling tower, or we can use fan at the bottom of the tower. Now if we are using fan at the top of the tower, it is known as induced draft cooling tower. Induced draft. But if we are installing the fan at the bottom of the tower just to maintain the supply of the air, it is known as force draft cooling tower. Force draft cooling tower. Sometime the combination of induced draft and forced draft cooling tower are there. So you can see these are the important circuit of the cooling tower. Now what are the main component of steam power plant or sometime thermal power plant? So boiler along with mounting and accessories. So today we are using high pressure boiler, or sometimes we are using critical or supercritical boilers along with mounting and accessories, right. Mountings, what are mountings? Mounting are those fittings which are necessary for the safety of the boiler. Friends, do you know that there is a boiler inside our home also? In every home there is a small boiler. Yes, can you guess? Yes, that is a pressure cooker. So every pressure cooker is a boiler where we convert water into steam with the help of some heat, right. And mounting and accessories. So on every pressure cooker or every boiler there are two mounting, two safety device. The one is a whistle, which is dead weight safety valve, and other is fusible plug, which can melt when pressure is more, and dead weight safety valve, or that whistle is not working. So this is most important part of the thermal power plant, or you can say steam power plant. Next one is steam turbine. See, turbine are different for different power plants. The turbine used in hydraulic power plant is known as hydraulic turbine. The turbine used in gas based power plant is known as gas turbine, and the turbine used in steam power plants are known as steam turbines. We are using generator, we are using condenser, we are using cooling tower, water pumps, feed pump, then crusher house, coal mill, draft fan, ash precipitators, boiler chimney, water treatment plant, control room, switch yard. So this is not a complete list. This list is the main component of the modern steam power plant. Besides these parts, there are thousands of the parts are there, thousands of the small parts are there, which are used for the satisfactory working of the boiler, or which are used satisfactory working of the modern thermal power plants. Now automation is there, so most of the component are controlled with the help of a computer, with the help of automation. So now direct involvement of human is very less, and it is not necessary, right. So this is about the modern steam thermal power plants. Now if you have any query, we are welcome for your queries and your suggestions. Thank you.